There are a lot of teachers who are new with this online English teaching job. So today I will show you how you're going to start with your first day of online English teaching here at NativeCamp. Hello everyone, my name is Johanna. If this is your first time watching my video, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button for the notification. So this video is to those newbie teachers who don't know how to use the platform yet. This is a quick overview on how you will start your online English teaching job here at NativeCamp. And well, of course, even though you already have an experience teaching with other online English schools, the platform would still be different. If you log into your NativeCamp platform, you can see the bar on top. So that says not standby, and then on the right side, not standby, and then log out. So if you click on the not standby, you can see a drop down standby. So if you go on standby, so you will wait for a sudden lesson. So a student might enter your class and you will start with a sudden lesson. So if you click on that standby, the bar will be changed into blue. So blue, that means you are on standby for a sudden class. And then if, for example, you have a reserved class or a booked class, that bar will be changed to orange bar. Orange, that would be 10 minutes before your booked class. And you will hear a notification sound. So I would suggest for you to go on standby for your reserved class 5 minutes before the reserved class. Not 10 minutes, but 5 minutes. Because if you will quickly click on standby for reserved class, you will be changed to the blue bar. That means standby for reservation. So you will, you might have a sudden lesson for just 5 minutes or less. So I would suggest for you just to click 5 minutes. Again, not 10 minutes. Just try to ignore that notification sound for 5 minutes. Okay, and then click on the standby for reservation 5 minutes before. For example, your reserved class is at 6 p.m. Okay, so the notification or the orange bar will be there 10 minutes before. So that would be 5:50. Okay, so do not go on standby yet. Wait until 5:55 to go on standby for reserved class, for booked class. Okay, and then once you click on standby for reserved class, the bar will be changed to yellow. So yellow, that means standby for reserved or booked class. So you will just have to wait for your student to come into your class. And then at 6 o'clock, so, or when the student came into your class, it will be changed to a pink bar. So pink, that means ongoing class. And also, there are times that the student is late. So if the student is late, so they are given 5 minutes, like a 5-minute grace period. So, for example, they were not able to come into your class at 6:05, so the lesson will automatically be canceled. So you will be changed to the gray bar, so that means you're not standby. So you can go on standby to have a sudden class. Going back to the pink bar, the ongoing class, so you can see a red button on the upper left, and it says report account. You will only click on that if you notice that the student's name on the account is different from the name introduced. Or if you notice that, so sometimes there are informations on the students, so students info. So you can see that sometimes there are birthdays and other informations. So if it didn't match the information that the student is giving you, the student that you're talking to, if it's different, yes, you can report it. Or if, like for example, all the family members are using that account, you can also report. Because there is actually a plan. I think there is a family plan at NativeCamp wherein they should have different accounts with us. So one account, one person. So if you notice that there are different persons using that one account, you can click on report account on the upper left. So it's the red button on the pink bar. Then on the left side of the platform, you can see different tabs. I already explained that on my previous video on the platform overview. So there you can see your ID. That's your teacher ID on the top. So try to memorize the teacher ID because sometimes it's used for the promos, for the NativeCamp promos every Sunday or any other day. And then there you can see the guidelines. So everything you need to know about NativeCamp is there on the guidelines. Dashboard, that's where you can have your target income and you can set up your goal. And then message, so we'll be talking about this later, the message that you will send to your student. And then students info, here's where you can see the information about your student. And then the text, this is the lesson materials that you will have during the class. Learning kit for teachers, so this is the materials that we use for NativeCamp. So this is the self-training. Here you can see the self-training videos and some information about the textbook materials. And then Japanese phrases. So on the Japanese phrases, you can translate. Here you can see the lesson phrases that you can send to your student if there are audio problems, camera, textbook. So it's very useful if your student is a beginner, so you can send the Japanese characters to the student. So translation, so it's the Google Translator. And then schedule, here you can plot your schedule, but I would suggest for you to use the smartphone application to plot your schedule because it's color coded, so it's much easier for you to check your schedule. And then reservation, if you have booked class, so you can see there's a red circle with a number or with numbers, and there you can see the textbook material and your students info so that you can prepare for a booked class. Then history, here are the lessons that you've finished. And then lesson review, here are the stars or the ratings of your students and also their comments on your teaching. And then account, here are your information, teacher's information. So if you wanted to change your profile picture, so you can do it here. If you wanted to change your intro video, and if you wanted to add your hobbies or change your bank account, all about the teacher's information, you can change it here. And then before starting the lesson, you have to click on the Test My Cam so that you can see if your camera is working fine, if the audio is okay. And then notice, so here are the notices from our admin from NativeCamp. And then rule, there's nothing much here. So these are just like the notices also from the admin. And then payment, of course you can see here your earnings and also the ratings. You can also see the ratings or the evaluation of your students, and also all about the payment. And then teacher ranking, So if you are really competitive and you wanted to be on top, you can always check here to see if you are getting the crown, the gold, the silver, or the bronze crown. And then also, the last one is inquiry. If you have any questions about NativeCamp, you can always ask our admin. They're very nice. They can quickly answer your questions. Sometimes not that quickly because, of course, there are a lot of teachers. Perhaps they have a lot of queries on their end. That's why sometimes it will take some minutes or hours for them to answer your queries. But they will definitely answer them. And that's it for the tabs on the left side. The right side of your platform, you can see the time. If you're not having a lesson yet, you can see the time. So the time zone should be the same as the time in the Philippines, or else you might have a hard time plotting a schedule or conducting a lesson. So for the time zone, some teachers ask me how to change the time zone because they cannot conduct a lesson because the time is different from the PST or the Philippine Standard Time. So you can change that on the account tab. Okay, so changing the time zone is on the account tab. That is, so try to scroll down. You can see the time zone and just choose UTC plus 8. That is Manila. Okay. So UTC plus 8 Manila. And also on the right side, you can see the current time in Japan. So Japanese Standard Time is always 1 hour ahead of the Philippines. So right now, it's already 12:52 p.m. So in Japan, it's already 1:52 p.m. They're 1 hour ahead of us. And if you're already having or conducting a lesson, on the right side, you can see the video of your student and also your video. You can actually change that. So, well, in my case, I always have the bigger video for my student and the smaller one would be mine. But if you can change that, you can have your video bigger than that of your student. And you can also adjust the volume. You can also turn off the camera if in case you're having some problems with your internet, but do not ever turn off your camera without asking permission from your student. And then you can also, for example, like now, if you notice, I have some colds and a bit of a cough. So if I cannot talk properly, I would mute and then I would sneeze or I would cough and then I would just say sorry to my student. And just make sure to click on mute. If you don't have the mute button on your headset, you can just use that on that of the platform. And then what else can you see on that? Oh, you can also adjust. You can also adjust it because in my case, I move the browser. I try to make it smaller because I have my notepad on the right side. So the textbook material is like sometimes I cannot see the whole textbook material. So I try to adjust that of the video. So I try to adjust that. And I think you can also change the video. You can also put that on top. So it's adjustable. So it's up to you on which one works for you. And then also on that right side below the video, you can see the chat box. That is very useful. I always tell that to my videos that chat box is really important because that is the blackboard. That is our blackboard. So there you can put your corrections. Sorry. So the corrections, and also you can check the request of the student. And what else? So there, the chat box on the right side. I will tell you how I start my day teaching at NativeCamp. So if I have a reserved class, I will log in 10 minutes before the time. Okay, log in only. And then, of course, I will hear the notification sound. Then I will wait 5 minutes before the booked class to click on standby. So again, orange for the notification that you have a reserved class. And then if you click on standby for reservation, it will turn into yellow. And then I will wait for the student. And if, of course, booked class, I have to prepare for, I will check the student's info, the lesson material. And then once the student came into your class, you have to click on text so that you can see the textbook material. Because I think automatically when the student came in, the message tab will be there. That's the default, I think, message. So just click on text so that you can see the textbook material. So there you will do the lesson, use the chat box for the corrections, and then after the lesson, go to the message tab. So this is where you will put the corrections that you made with the students, your message, or your encouraging messages to the students. Okay, so make sure to save first before you go to the different tabs. Because, for example, you input some messages on this message tab, or you input some informations in this message tab, and then you suddenly change tabs on the left side. Unfortunately, those messages that you had input will be gone. So make sure to always save first before moving on to the next tab, or send if they're already done. If I don't have a booked class, so still I will log in 10 minutes before the scheduled time. And then, for example, 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock, I will log in at 5:50. And then I will wait for the time. I will wait until 6 o'clock to go on standby. So that is for the sudden class. Again, this is if you don't have any booked class. So log in exactly at 6 o'clock for a sudden class. And I will just wait for the student to come into my class and then conduct the lesson. So same thing. So of course, it's a sudden class, so you don't have any information yet about the student. But once they come in, quickly click on students info. Students info, more, and then check the students info. If there are any requests, make sure to check if they wanted to have a self-introduction or not, point out errors or other requests. Always check on that. And then after that, click on the text tab so that you can see the textbook material that the student had chosen. And then do the lesson. And also, of course, there would be some information that will pop in, and those are the requests of the student. Just click on OK, and then it will be gone. For the sudden lesson, the system will not allow you to go on standby if you don't have a scheduled or a plotted schedule on that time. So make sure to go on standby on the exact time that you plotted. So again, if you started at 6 o'clock, standby on 6 o'clock. But for example, so 6 o'clock, your lesson will end at 6:25 or 6:26. So if you're already done with the message, you can just go on standby again at 6:26 so that you can have a lot of sudden lessons. So before, when I didn't have any, or I didn't have a lot of booked lessons yet, I quickly go on standby. For example, 6 o'clock. I will go on standby at 6 o'clock, and then I will go on standby after each and every lesson. I quickly go on standby. So 5, so 25. So in 2.5 hours, I will have another sudden class. For example, in 3 hours, we have 6 lessons in 3 hours for sudden class. So if I will quickly go on standby, I will have 7 sudden classes in just 3 hours. So you can also do that if you really wanted to have a lot of lessons. So you can quickly go on standby after each lesson. But make sure to send the messages within 24 hours. So in my case, I always do the multitasking. I quickly send the messages to the students. Oh, let me just add that I'm using a Google Chrome. And I have the NativeCamp application, and then I also have the dictionary so that I can see or I can put the phonetics or the pronunciation for the students' correction. Because they say that Japanese students are really good with phonetics, they know how to read the phonetics or the pronunciation. And also for the meaning, of course, for the meaning of the words, you can just copy paste the meaning from this dictionary to the NativeCamp app or in the chat box. And the dictionary that I'm using, I think they suggest to use the Cambridge dictionary, but in my case, I'm already used to the Macmillan dictionary. So you can use any dictionary that you want, or sometimes I just use the Google. Just put the word and then search it just on Google. And what else? So if I have for the Callan method, of course, I always open the new work word finder. And what else? So that's it. And for if you have a lot of pronunciation class, so just open your clock or the timer. So just have the timer on somewhere on your screen. In my case, I put it on the upper right side of my screen, so that if I have the pronunciation class, I can just quickly click on the timer and not let the student wait for me to get the timer. So you always have to be ready. So there, it's easy, right? Well, of course, at first it's difficult because you're not used to it, but eventually you will get used to it. So again, just make sure to be on standby if you have a booked class to avoid cancellation, to avoid deductions. Okay, always check the smartphone app so that, and also make sure that the email notification is on so that you can quickly receive the notifications that you have you have a booked class, or someone booked your lesson, or someone changed your textbook material. Just make sure to always check it. And again, be on standby for your booked class 5 minutes before the lesson time. Not 10 minutes, but 5 minutes. Okay, so log in to the platform 10 minutes before the time, but click on the reserved or booked class 5 minutes before. Because again, if you click 10 minutes before, you might have a sudden class for just 5 minutes. So be on standby for 5 minutes before the booked class, and then for the standby, if that would be your first lesson of the day, click on standby on the exact time, on the exact plotted schedule. But if you're already at the middle of your plotted schedule, you can click on standby anytime you want. But of course, it's better to be on standby on, like for example, at 6 o'clock or 6:30. So, but in my case, I click anytime I want for standby for sudden lesson. And what else have we talked about? Oh, there the tabs on the left side. Again, I have another video for that on the platform overview video. And then what else? So the different colors. Let me just recap the different colors. Gray bar, that means you're logged in. And then blue, that means you are already on standby for a sudden class. Orange with a notification sound, sometimes irritating sound, but so there, that's for standby for reserved or booked class. And then yellow, that means you are already on standby, you're already waiting for your booked lesson. And then pink bar, that means there's an ongoing class, you're already having a class with your student. And then red button on the upper left that says report account, that is if the student is using a different account, or if there are a lot of people using that one account, you can report it. And then left side of the platform, the different tabs again. And right side, that's the video for the ongoing class, the video, and then the chat box. Then at the middle would be the text, the textbook material. So again, at the start of the lesson, click on students info and then text. And then after the lesson, click on message. So, and if you want to check the rating of the student, you can check that on the payment tab or on the lesson review evaluation by text. For the evaluation by text, if you want to check, you can just change the date, same date today, so February 17 until February 17, so that you can check the lesson ratings for today. So there you have it, guys. That is how you will conduct your lessons and check the platform. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, just leave them below. And please don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button for the notification. So thank you so much for watching and happy teaching, everyone. Bye!